Hi, Angela. This is Dr. Don, and I am going to show you just a few things that you could do on this first problem. The problem says construct a column chart for the data in Excel tab state unemployment rates to allow a comparison of the June rate with historical highs and lows. Would any other charts be better to visually convey this information? Why or why not? Okay, let's go over here to this tab, and we've got our data. We've got a column with the states. We've got the June rate, the historical high, historical low. And it's as simple as just selecting those columns, dragging down till you get all of the states highlighted. So you've got your data selected. And you can click on Insert, and I'm going to click on Recommended Charts. And the first chart that it brings up is a map chart, and it's showing the June data because that's going from 3 to 9. And we could use that. That does a good job of showing how the states compare to each other for the June. And the darker the blue, the higher the unemployment for that particular period of time. So that would be useful, but it only shows June. The next one that it offers up is a bar chart. And this is a stack bar chart, which would be confusing because it doesn't really allow you very easily to compare these various months, the June value plus the high and the low. So I'm gonna click on all charts, and let's start with just what it asks us to do. We're going to try a column chart. I'm going to click on that and click OK, and we get this little chart, which is kind of hard to see, but you can drag these corners to make the chart a little bit bigger, and that's not too bad. We've got our states across the bottom. They're kind of hard to read because you've got to turn your head, but they're there. And given the fact that most of us know that the states are alphabetical, you kind of make some good sense of that. One thing I do notice is that I'm going to make this a little bit bigger yet, is that the color of the June rate and historical low is in my mind too similar. So I'm going to click on one of those historical low columns, and it brings up this format data section. I'm going to change that color. Let me try yellow, see if that works. That's not too bad, but I'm going to go try the dark blue. No, I'm going to go over here to green and click off for a second. And that's a little bit more understandable to me. You can see the June rate and then the historical rate, high rate, and historical low for each state. And that's pretty good. You can go through and glancing at it, you can compare the states, the blue columns. There's Michigan with a very high blue column and Wyoming with a very low blue column. But we can see over there in Wyoming that their June rate is not that far away from their historic low, but is way away from their historic high. So the column chart does work pretty well. One thing I would do would be to click on that title, and I'm going to type state UNEMPLOYMEN rates percent, and I'm going to delete that title. It's always good to label your charts to make them more readable. And one thing I would do would maybe to click over here, and I want to format the axis. Let's see, text. I want to go, maybe it's to add chart element. I'm sorry. Axis title, primary vertical. There it goes. And this would be percent UNEMPLOYMENT, and again get rid of the extra there. So now I've labeled my y-axis, and it's pretty straightforward that the x-axis are states. So that, it's one way of presenting this. The other question would be, could we present it in some other format? I don't know. One thing you can do once you've got your chart selected and you're in the Design tab, you can click on Change the Chart Types. Let me click on Line for a second. And that, to me, I know technically if you remember about line charts imply that there's a continuous relationship between these items, and obviously Alaska and Alabama aren't connected. So there's a technical problem with using a line chart for this, but it really conveys very well what the historic lows are, what the June values are across the states, and we can see that for almost every state the historical high is much, much higher than the June rate. There's one state where the June rate and historic low are very close. So technically, a pure statistician may say, well, you shouldn't use a line chart from this. But if you're trying to communicate to an audience something about the relationship among the states, how their June rates compare to the historic lows and the historic highs, then this line chart is pretty useful, and it communicates it pretty well, even if you were limited on space. In other words, if you were trying to squeeze this into a typical letter report, the line chart works pretty well. If we go back to the column chart, and that small space, it becomes hard to read. So there's some trade-offs there. So anyway, I hope this helps you see how to answer that first question.